Hey, look, it's Kevin. There we go.
We left him in that number
Kevin.
one spot there.
It's fine. He's number one in my heart. Anyway, this is the Orville Season 2, Episode 10, Blood of Patriots review. And of course, I am Jody Simpson. And with me, as always, is my faithful group of podcasters. And that, of course, starts with the number one himself, the mustache that just doesn't quit. That is right. It is Kevin Millard.
It doesn't quit. It goes all the way down.
I know, it's like a beard at that
Who
point.
needs Movember when you have Kevin?
Kevin does Movember every month.
That's right.
That's right. He's a big supporter. And of course, who could forget the producer extreme, the man who ran all the way here just to get here. That, of course, is Dave Bader.
That's right. I ran all the way here, even though I was already here. It was a big circle.
Oh, I thought you just came back from your run.
Well, I did, but Jody, I don't understand why I had to. I'm glad to be here, but why was a urine sample necessary?
We have procedures here, guys. I'm sorry.
There are procedures.
Just be glad I didn't bring out the glove.
Don't kink shame us, Dave.
Don't kink shame us. Speaking of kink shame. No, I'm just kidding. That's a terrible. Adam's like, what the hell?
What the hell?
Of course.
I never shaved a cake in his life.
The man who needs no explanation because of his handsome good looks. Of course, it is Adam Woodward.
Hello, Jody.
Hi.
I'm looking forward to talking about this episode tonight. This is good.
What about your urine sample? I
went behind the boxes over there. I'm good.
Oh, okay, great. And as I said, we're currently going to be talking about the Orville Season 2, Episode 10, which is The Blood of Patriots. What do we think, guys? I know I already have kind of an idea on what a couple of you thought, but let's hear the rest of them. Kevin, why does it say Team Millard? Team Woodson? Well, that would be...
The headlines were still turned on. There you go.
It's good. It's a good episode. Solid episode. Standard fare, I guess. I feel like I've seen this episode many times.
Similar to this,
yeah. But done well. I like it.
All right, Dave, what do you think?
Pretty good. I don't know if I love it, but it's like an interesting morality story. And I think like this idea of making peace with your enemies, I think is, something we've seen done before, of course. This is a big part of what Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, was kind of about. And, you kind of get like a kind of a new take on it here. And is like, I think that Gordon's struggle with it, I think I would like that to be a little bit more pronounced. But, other than that, it's
okay.
The fact that if he's against peace, I think that he doesn't go a lot to show that.
I don't know if he. Sorry, I'll wait. I'll wait for my rebuttal on that one.
Yeah, all yours.
All right, Adam, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. First of all, I really like this episode, whether it's being redone or whatever. Dave, you know what? I don't know how many episodes ago we were talking about this, and some of our co-podcasters, don't like this show, and it stuck with me because it's become so good recently.
It is good.
And this episode tonight or yesterday, whatever, I watched it. What we're talking about today it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the storyline. The morality play is good, but I wonder though, would Gordon be as upset if his friend wasn't part of this? It was another guy.
Definitely not.
No, right?
No,
so
I don't think he would even care.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he certainly. I think that the guest star. I don't know. Do you guys like him? Mackenzie Aston, who plays this Oren character.
I know him. I know him from somewhere, but
I know him from somewhere too. He's been in.
I just kept concentrating on his ear.
The Facts of Life.
The Facts of Life.
The one thing I like.
Bad. See, he should have learned from that.
The one thing I like about this episode is at this time around is Gordon never really even entertains helping him.
No,
like he never really does, and that's a difference that you don't see in most other shows where they've started helping, but then it goes a little too far, and he's just like, no, I'm not doing this. He sympathizes with his friend. but he's not going to help him go down the wrong path.
Right. But he doesn't rat him out right away either.
No.
No, it takes him a while to actually get up the gall to rat him out, I guess. But anyway, all right. Well, I think the consensus is it's either decent to good, I think is what we've come down
not
to.
bad.
Well, we'll see after we talk about it whether any of those minds have changed, of course. But let's get right into it, guys. Unless anybody else has something else to say.
I'm going to say again, every episode that Tala has a major role in, she just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, I like her character.
This has become the Tala show. Like
almost, yeah.
She's the lead at every, and it makes sense because she's probably the strongest actress strongest actor out of all of them.
I'd say something.
I would say so. Yeah, probably.
Except for maybe Penny Johnson, but I think Tala even up a level.
She is really good in the show. Yeah, and I agree that I think she's just she's written better as the security chief than her predecessor was. But she also just acts it very differently. She carries herself very differently in these storylines.
Yeah, you don't even question her. Like she's on the right level all the time.
She's on top of things instead of just reacting to things.
Yeah, she's preventative instead of reactive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, well, let's get into it, boys. Shall we? All right. We get a nice little external shot. You know how I feel about those, so I always take one. We start off at looks like a award ceremony. Turns out this is actually carryover from the previous episode, and it has to do with Yafid. Apparently, Yafid is being accommodated. I can't remember the name of the award. I think it's like Diamond Star or something like that, or Sapphire Star, maybe.
It's like the Medal of Honor or something.
Yeah, it's their version of that, basically. But
for bravery.
The Sapphire Star.
Yeah. Is it Sapphire Star? Oh my god, I actually remembered something. But yeah, so he ends up getting this award. Everybody cheers, of course. And then at this point, they're about to have a shot. And Mercer basically says that he can't. I can't remember the drink that they're drinking, but
Eldorian vodka.
Is it Eldorian vodka? Okay, so there you go. But he's like, yeah, I can't have any of that stuff. It just destroys me. And they convince him to have a shot, but he does the old throw it behind him thing, which nobody was fooled by at all, from what I could tell. At this point, sorry.
Wait. What happened to Marcus? Or sorry, Ty? Ty was like a major. He was right along with Yafit there.
Yeah, well.
Where's his Star Sapphire?
I don't know. I guess they couldn't afford the child labor this year.
He's not in the union. He's not a union officer.
Oh, there you go.
He should have at least got a distinction.
He should get some sort of, civilian award or something.
Actually,
they gave him a chocolate milk and his favorite robot is back. He's fine.
There you go.
That's absolutely true, actually, Kevin.
That does sound kind of true. But basically, just after this, which I guess I didn't get a shot of, but basically Mercer gets informed that he has a call on a secured channel from one of the admirals, and him and Kelly have to go take that call. So they end up going back into his office, and we see Ted Danson was playing, I can't remember, Admiral
Perry.
See, this is why Dave's here. Admiral Perry. And basically he says, just let you know, looks like the Krill want to have like a ceasefire, and they want peace, so they want to maybe do a treaty here.
So we're sending you.
Yeah, so we're sending you. And it even Mercer's like, you surely have somebody better than me.
They're sending Mercer to deliver the promise ring. This isn't a treaty.
Yeah,
it's a promise that we'll start working towards a treaty.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. But basically,
how hard can it be, Kevin?
Oh, I don't know. Could be. Anyway, we see the Orville end up coming close to this planet. At this point, they're informed that a shuttle. Just after, actually, sorry, it's the next slide. But basically, the Krill are here, but they're chasing a little shuttle, and they're firing on it, and it's their own shuttle. So obviously, that's got everybody a bit surprised. And eventually, Mercer's like, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, let them into the dock and put up the shields, I guess." So this thing flies into it, crashes right into the deck. It's always that damn deck E. It's always Dickie. I think that's the only one they have made probably. But anyway, so he crashes. At this point, they run down to the shuttle to figure out what's going on. They get Talia to open the door by way of just essentially pitching it. And then Ms. Johnson herself, she goes in, Claire goes in, and she ends up finding this guy who's, pretty much out of it at this point. And then there's a girl with him as well. And then at this point, she's like, yeah, no, they're a thing, but the girl is fine. I don't know how the girl managed to deal with this impact, but the guy's like out like a light. They're both sitting in relatively the same spot, so I don't really get that. But anyway, I guess for reasons which we find out later. So maybe that's why. But anyway, so Talia, the thing I liked about this, and actually on the rewatch, because I remember the scene with the two of them talking about how Mercer's like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about him? And she's like, I just don't trust him. I just don't trust him. But if you notice during the episode, she actually is giving him the evil eye most of the time. So I guess they had that as part of the thing. So I tried to capture that.
It's job to be suspicious.
Yeah, well, exactly. Right. So it's, she ended up doing that. Turns out Gordon knows this guy. Apparently they served together ages ago. They were friends. And I guess at one point or another, he saved him from a crash or something. I didn't really catch the whole thing on that, but
Yeah, who was Andy on the Facts of Life, Adam?
Was he the little boy?
He must have been. He would have been a kid at the time.
I
right?
would say so.
Yeah. He's in 72 episodes of the Facts of Life. So if
he's got to be the little boy then.
Yeah, he's got to be then, because he wasn't anything else. I was looking at
I know I've seen him in other things. I think he's just like one of these character actors that hasn't ever had like a huge role, but he's been in a gajillion different shows.
Or he may look very much like someone else who does a lot of roles like that.
Like who?
I get fooled by that.
I don't know.
What? He looks like who?
I don't know, but he might
he
look
just
like
looks like somebody
somebody
that
else
probably
who does.
Well, he
a
might,
lot of those
but he might.
roles.
He might, yeah, but
So basically at this point, Mercer's like, what the hell's going on? Then we get our title card, which is Blood of Patriots. And at this point, the Krill have basically said, yeah, no, you need to hand over this guy. He destroyed a whole bunch of our ships. He killed millions, thousands of people. We want him basically. And Mercer's kind of like, this is a very weird way to start peace talks. Seeing you try to take down a shuttle. And then obviously him and Gordon start walking around. They're going towards the med bay to check out. The ear thing is the thing that bugged me the most about this guy. And I don't know why, but his one ear has like a gouge out of it. Oh,
he does look like somebody else. And now I figured it out. He is the half brother of Sean Astin.
Oh, yeah. You ever hear the story? Yeah. Sean Astin's got a really interesting life with the two dads or three dads or something.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin from like Lord of the Rings and like
Goonies.
Goonies.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's who. Yeah.
That's his half brother. Really?
Half brother. Yeah.
He kind of looks like that guy who plays the Shield agent in the Marvel movies.
Agent
Coulson. I don't know. It's been a while, but yeah, no, he kind of looks like him actually. I think, but certain angles, like this angle, he doesn't look like it at all.
A little bit, yeah.
But anyway, so basically, he comes to Claire, I guess, nurses him back to health and gets him moving again. But anyway, and this is when Gordon's like, hey, I see him. And then the two of them kind of reminisce about, all that. And at this point, Mercer's like, yeah, no, what's going on here? Like, I hate to be a dick, but like, there's some shit going on here. Like, what's the jive? To which he doesn't really give an answer. Like, he gives kind of an answer, I guess, but not really much of one. He's like, yeah, I escaped their penal colony. And I've been, I took one of their shuttles and that's why they're coming after me. But turns out we find out later he was doing a lot more weird stuff. But anyway, so at this point, they're starting to do the boarding thing. they have the delegates, I guess.
Well, this is funny though, because Captain Mercer basically tells her, delay them. I'm not ready to talk yet.
Yeah, delay. I'm not ready to talk to them. So she's like, well, I could come up with some things. And she's like,
the next gen, they just would have put them in the conference room and given them refreshments. Here, she made a thing of it.
Yeah, she really ran it out, eh? She's like, so, and your name again is? And she's like, oh, you did tell me that. I'm sorry. And she writes it down again.
So there's only one Krill that actually speaks, right? It's this main guy at the front.
Yeah, the other two don't talk during the whole episode.
So like I noticed the name of the guy playing this Krill. It's John Fleck, who was Silic on Star Trek Enterprise, the Suliban guy.
Okay.
I was like, there's something familiar with his voice, He
did have a familiar voice, yeah. That makes perfect sense. Oh no, two of them talk. The guy in the red didn't talk at all.
Yeah, okay. So the guy on the right is John Fleck, who played Silic.
And looking at his face now, you can kind of tell.
You can tell from that British nose, yeah.
But the front two talk, but the guy in the red doesn't talk the entire time.
He's got to be one of the only guys who's been on like TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and the Orville. Like he's kind of done it all.
Well, I don't know if Jeffrey Combs has been on the Orville, but Jeffrey Combs
was never on TNG. So,
oh, that's right, he wasn't. Yeah, good point. So yeah, this guy definitely wins on that part for sure. But basically, she makes up all these different things, and then eventually she's like, "Yeah, and here's some cups, and I'm gonna need a urine sample." And they're like very offended by this, and they're like, "Where should we go?" Like, just behind the boxes there where Adam was earlier, and just have yourself.
I love the way they take them too. Like they just so incensed.
Yeah, they're just very insensitive about that. They're just like, But they all grab them and they all head towards the box. And she smiles. Of course. And at this point we see kind of an external. And at this point, Mercer's going through some of the data that he has. And at this point, is this when he says he gets kind of mad at him.
He needs 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I need 5 more minutes.
This is the rubber glove joke.
Oh, yes, there it is. The rubber glove. And she puts on the rubber glove and she's like, yeah, I can arrange that. It's like,
I feel like you could just be like, it's going to be 5 minutes.
Just go like take the long way, like to the conference room. I think it could
do tour. Yeah.
McFarlane did write this episode, so there's going to be like some extra humor stuff in here just for the fact that there's humor, right? So this was obviously one of those scenes. But basically, Mercer asks Gordon to show up. He ends up talking to Gordon, and it basically explains. Gordon. I don't remember this part now. This isn't the one that I thought it was.
This is the back rubs one. Like
can we just offer them like a back rub or something? Yeah. Okay, that's right. And Mercer's just like at this point, like Mercer's actually kind of irritated with him. Like you could tell he's irritated. He's like, "Yeah, that's great. I got some work to do. How about you take off?" And look at his face though. He's just like, "Oh, piss off." So anyway, they're at the conference table now, and basically, Mercer's like, why are you, what's the deal here? And they're like, yeah, this guy, he killed I think they said 10,000 people or something like that.
1,700 or so. It was.
Oh, was it only?
It was a few trips.
Yeah, 1,200, I think. But
1,200 or something like that. But he basically, took out some ships, and that killed a lot of the krill. And Mercer's like, yeah, no, I totally understand and I sympathize, but you're also asking me to hand over a Union officer, and all this. And he's like, we're trying to get peace going here.
And they have no evidence and they have no explanation, right, for how he even did this. Like, we don't know how he did it, and they also only want him. They don't want his daughter.
They don't want the girl. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and I like when he says, well, how did he do it? And they're like, that's what the interrogation is for.
Yeah. He goes, I know what interrogation means. He's gonna die. So I guess krill don't do interrogation too well. But basically that's it. I love when he gets mad. That was amazing.
He's like, I know you're a godless people, but even you must have some regard for life.
Avis would not be happy with Mercer.
Mm-mm.
But basically, he's like, yeah, you have. I think they gave him 36 hours or something like that.
12.
Oh, was it only 12? Oh, there you go. See, this is why I'm old. But yeah, so it gives him 12 hours. He says, by the time we get back, he better be with us. And if he's not with us, then,
no peace.
No peace.
Did you, Dave? Did it remind you of there will be no peace? Well, Kirk lives.
Wow, it's not Kirk's. The chance of the Klingon High Council is dead. Yeah, that's a good callback. Absolutely.
Now they named this game. Did anybody catch the name?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
I can look it up though.
But I remember them saying it, and I was going to write it down.
Yeah, they did say it.
Yeah.
Boladon discs.
That sounds right. Yeah, Boladon discs. So there you go. So it turns out, she's playing with this, and I guess she's quite gifted at it. And the two of them are kind of chatting about the old ways and all that stuff, and
I had forgotten that. I had seen this before, but I had forgotten that she's not who she appears or who she says she is or whatever.
No,
but
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, because she doesn't talk, and the reason why supposedly she doesn't talk is because she's been in the penal colony and they abuse the hell out of her. But turns out that's not exactly the case. But,
I could tell from her face she was evil. She was acting to she had the eyes, the evil mouth, all that. You can tell sometimes.
That's a hot take from Dave right there.
Yep.
That's how you know. But anyway, so she's playing, and they're the two of them are kind of reminiscing about old times, and then also he's like, what happened and all that. Why doesn't she talk? And oh well, she was abused. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so anyway,
where we also find out Gordon was saved by this guy.
This scene went on longer.
It did go on longer, but apparently I didn't grab enough screenshots.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much it, but it was pretty important because we found out that Gordon actually could have been with the Krill this whole time as well, because this guy saved Gordon from the Krill and some others as well.
And Gordon had a big mohawk when he was first in the service.
Apparently he had a big mohawk, and he regrets it.
I think that you should bring it back.
I think you should too, personally.
That's what I did. That callback where we see a young ensign Malloy with the mohawk.
That's what I want for a season 4. I just want Malloy at the academy. Mohawk.
That'd be good. So anyway, we go over to, I guess, a little bit later on. We end up in the mess hall, and Talia and Grayson are both there, and they're speaking with this girl, and Talia shows her this musical instrument she had to learn, which, okay, I don't know if any of you guys watch Futurama or have watched Futurama.
A little bit, yeah.
There's a flute that they can play that does like a hologram thing that Fry tried to think. This is basically the exact same thing. So, and Futurama did it first, so I think this was clearly a nod or something. But basically, as she plays it, this hologram kind of ambient thing comes out and kind of dances around and stuff. And this girl's very excited about this. Like she's completely enthralled by it. And we find out that Talia had to learn this when she was a little girl because they basically, I guess this is the equivalent of learning the violin.
And it did not get her laid.
And it did not get her laid, as she says.
But now it might.
Now it could.
Now it might.
For sure. And then Dan's in the side there going, yeah, I like that. That's good. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, got a really nice Dan picture here, too.
I think this is one of those times where I'm like, this is Seth MacFarlane wrote this,
I
don't think
sure.
I don't think a woman would say, even a Chilean woman would go, and it did get me laid when I had to play an instrument. I'm like, what? Like,
what I apparently missed is Talia gives it to the girl, which I don't think we have a name for her. If we do,
who, the fake daughter?
Yeah. Name? What'd you say, Adam?
Hold on, get it.
Oh, okay. One of you guys will. Anyway, hands it over to the girl who will be named later, and she plays with
Lena Channing.
Mina?
Lena L.
Lena. Okay.
Yeah.
Lena, Leela. Oh, I see the connection here. Definitely Futurama. But anyway,
hold on though. This Dan Tala connection here. She's into it.
Oh yeah,
in.
Dan's definitely going for Tala for sure. Dan's all about that. He's like, hey, let's go make some elevator music. It'll be good.
She's not repulsed by Dad. She's like, baby.
No.
Not at all. She seemed interested.
She's like, you look like a moon, but past that, you look great.
Yeah, I think that Tala is the new Jedzia Dax of the Orville, and she's gonna get around on this ship. So
I like her more than Jedzia, though.
Well, talking about likability, I'm just saying, going to have some romances.
Yeah. So the next thing we see is in the security chief's room. Mercer comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw some stuff by you." And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "But off the record." And she's like, "All right." And he's like, "So, how do you feel about this guy?"
Don't trust him. Rubs me the wrong way, but there's no real reason.
Sam's saying something, but I'm not totally sure what he's going for here. The blonde girl, O's hot. Is hot.
Kelly?
Oh, Grayson. Okay. Yeah, she's all right. But anyway, so she's like, "Yeah, all right." And he's like, "He kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, what's going on?" And she's like, well, he implies that basically. And she's like, "No, he rubs me the wrong way, like completely. I don't like him. I don't trust him. Something weird about him." And Mercer kind of agrees. He's like, "Yeah, I get the same vibe," kind of thing. There we go. And these two have this conversation. So this is definitely a Mercer conversation for sure. Like, this is something
about Casual Friday.
Yeah.
I don't like being so formal. Yeah.
It's a fun idea. If you submit the request to the captain, I will add my name to it.
But it's also just the way that this alien language is just so funny. The way he reads these words off,
which
and
obviously
things.
I can't show, but yeah, it's like blah, 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 blah. I just like the look. It's so formal all the time. And he's like, "Wonderful."
And he looks like a fungal growth or something. Like,
let's see if we got a good.
It's not the tumor.
It's not the tumor. He looks like a tumor with a head. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is cancer. There is a face to cancer. All right, but anyway, so we see what's his name now? This guy again. Oren. There we go. Oren. What a stupid name. Anyway, Oren is walking around and he's like, "Yeah," and he says to Lamar, "Oh, I just wanted to see this, engine room. I've been meaning to get down here. It's, it's glorious. 20 years difference here, blah, blah, blah." And he's looking around and he ends up right into the storage room, which is obviously a red flag to begin with. But anyway, and he's kind of snooping around. He's opening up cabinets and stuff. He's looking at stuff.
He's looking for a water bottle.
Yeah. And then we see him looking into it, but we don't see him grab anything, which I'm not totally sure if they did on purpose or not.
Well, he got caught, didn't he?
He got caught, right? So.
Yeah, but he would have already had something at this point because we find out later he took something.
But I think he comes back. I think he just was finding out where they were at this moment.
Gotcha. But basically, Talia finds him, but she plays like super coy about it. She's like, "Yeah, oh, you have access anywhere on the ship. It's fine. You're a Union officer. If you need anything, let me know." And she kind of says it even creepy like, and I don't think he gets it. But anyway, we go back and Tala reports this directly to the two guys. Basically says, "Yeah, no, I caught him snooping around. He was snooping around, looking through stuff in the cargo area there of engineering. She doesn't like it." So then we go back to the Admiral. The Admiral basically says, "Guys, we're thinking about handing him over."
But only if you can prove that that he's done what they've said.
Yeah, he says as long as they have the proof, hand him over.
But should they? I guess that's the question. Like, if they find out that he did do this, like, and he has been held in a prison camp for 20 years, and the fact that he fought his way out, I guess there is like that question. Like, obviously, I think especially at the what he does with Gordon here at the end is wrong, but. I do kind of sympathize with some of the arguments Gordon makes later on where, like, come on, like, whatever. They
tortured this guy for 20 years and
killed his wife and
want to hand him back
and his daughter, and et cetera.
Well, we find out his daughter later, but just killing his wife,
I feel like if you're escaping your enemy, you can kill as many as you want on your way out.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Which is kind of what he did, right?
That is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He killed a lot
the needs of the many, Dave.
Well, there's the needs of the many, right? Because he's like, if we don't make this alliance with the Krill, then we're going to lose to the Kaelon, and then we're all dead anyway. So, sometimes is this a trade that's worth it? Are we? I think Kelly says at the end of this conversation, is this who we are now? Is this what we? These the sacrifices?
Yeah.
right? Because you're trying to keep billions, if not trillions, of people alive. We know that the Kaylon are a very real threat. So, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to bend on?
Yeah. So basically, we get the end of this conversation is essentially, if they can prove it, we'll hand them over. And Mercer is very uneasy about this. Kelly is completely against this already, so she's kind of automatically out on this plan. But anyway, we get to see a scene from Planet of the Apes. This is obviously the really iconic scene of him figuring out he's actually on Earth. And Gordon's trying to give this girl some movie attention, I guess, to kind of relax her a bit.
It was nice for me to see Planet of the Apes getting some love in another science fiction.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, like, when it comes to this show, like, they do show a lot of copyrighted stuff. Their legal department must be like, they're like, oh, fuck, what's he going to come up with this week? And then we have to, like, get the clearance for it and all that. Because they would have had to clear this to be able to play it and all that. But I think it
proves to me that other productions are just fucking lazy and that it's not actually that hard to secure the rights to things.
Oh, I'm sure it isn't.
Older movies.
Also, Seth MacFarlane, he just makes a phone call.
Yeah.
If Fox owns the rights to it, I don't know if they own the rights to Planet of the Apes or not.
But look what he does with Family Guy. Like it's everything. There's nothing. Nothing secret, right? So.
Yeah, but basically, Gordon's like trying to here's the show-stopping scene, blah blah blah, and at this point, Mercer comes in, and he's like, "Gordon, I need to talk to you."
He thinks his daughter has never even he thinks she's never even been to her, so she's not going to know what the Statue of Liberty is. Like, she's not going to know.
Well, and that's why he's explaining, because he's like, "Yeah, no, this was on Earth, blah blah blah," but this is also a girl who's probably in her 30s. At this point, so when she was abducted, or
she'd be 20. She's meant to be like a
no,
baby
because,
when
he last saw her. She was a baby, yeah.
He was a baby when he last saw her. She was
20s.
Early 20s, and then now and they've been in prison for 20 years, right?
Yeah. I like how movies are so important on this show, though, and same with Enterprise, because movie night was a big thing.
Yeah, they did it on Enterprise a lot too. So
instead of, I don't miss the string quartets. Don't.
Instead of the fucking orchestra things that are happening in 10 forward constantly on TNG, it's like they're.
What about a good fencing match?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Or what is it? Pallady squares or
Parisi squares.
Parisi squares.
Or even some target. Ambujitsu, some target practice on the firing range. I don't know. That's what they do for fun on the Enterprise.
Yeah, and these guys are like, let's sit around, drink beer, and watch movies. All right, sounds like my kind of ship. But anyway, so Mercer's like, yeah, just to let you know, they're really thinking about handing him over, and Gordon instantly is like, he's on the defense. He's like, how can they do that? Blah 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 blah. This guy, 20 years he was getting. He escaped. He has the right, blah, blah, blah. This is an officer. And then he says something which I thought was really cool. He basically says to Mercer, and he's like, you're supposed to be protecting everyone in the Union, regardless. You're supposed to be protecting them. Do your fucking job, basically, is what he says. A little bit less.
So you're jealous of our friendship, too.
Yeah, and you're also jealous of our friendship. And Mercer's like, no, I'm not. Blah, blah, blah. But after
I thought he said, what are we 10? Like,
yeah, and he goes, what are we?
Yeah,
6?
It's the one part of the episode I didn't like is this part, like this, and Mercer being like, oh, I was jealous. I didn't get that through.
No, I didn't get that either.
The fact that this is supposed to be a private conversation that's in earshot of her too.
Not only that, but the door didn't close.
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure she can hear you.
Yeah, pretty sure they can hear the whole conversation. But anyway, so we end up seeing her, and she's playing the disc game again. And basically, Gordon goes in and he goes, tell me what actually happened. Like, did you do these things that these guys are saying? And basically, at this point, he's like, yeah, I need a shuttle. I need a shuttle. Can you get me a shuttle?
He
He's
says,
like,
you don't believe in this piece any more than I do, and I'm going to stop it. So I
Yeah.
need a shuttle.
yeah. And
Let's steal a
Gordon's
shuttle
like,
together,
"Yeah."
and then I'll tell you what my plan is.
Yeah. So, and originally, and I've seen this episode before, and I was still surprised by the fact that he went in the shuttle with him. I totally forgot about that. But I actually thought I was watching like he took him to like the holodeck, and like they were just faking all this shit to get his confession. But no, it happened. I was like, oh geez. But basically, Gordon's a little about it. At this point, we see Lamar, and he's going through, and he obviously needs a part. And he says, yeah, I'll go get the part. And he goes into the storage, gets the part, and he notices something else is missing. Turns out it's one of these things, which I guess is a carrier, containment system to contain something for plasma normally, yeah. But can be used for other things, apparently. And at this point, Tala's like, yeah, I totally knew that guy was he obviously stole it, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what else could they use this for, though?
Now, my one question, though, is why didn't she notice that he had taken something? She saw him there, but then never came back? Like she was never curious?
Well, the only other thing I can think of is kind of what Dave said, where he went back and grabbed it later.
I
Which
suppose.
Yeah, that's what happened. So she checked and everything was there, and then he comes back later, and then eventually Lamar discovers something.
Lamar actually discovers it's gone. Yeah. So that's the only thing I can think of. Borda says something. Totally don't remember what it was.
There's something like, are you sure that they have no weapons? That these both of them have nothing? And she says, they definitely don't.
I scanned everybody. I can scan again.
No weapons on the ship, but we don't know that her blood is a weapon and all that yet, right? So
not yet. Yeah. So anyway, we have Tala back in the thing, and Gordon's like, "So how about a drink?" And she's like, "Are you asking me about a date?" He's like, "No." And she's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess. How about we?
I wish she had been like, maybe, and then she, and then she'd be like,
she's got eyes for Dan. She doesn't want this guy.
No, but I think she was into this too. Like,
I think she's into everything. Yeah,
I think she's open to the end. She's like, yeah, we'll go on a date.
We'll see. Let's see.
I think she's a cougar cub, personally. I think
compared to her predecessor, who was not as eager to go out with just anybody. So.
True, but at least she doesn't have Yaffid up her ass all the time, like Claire does.
Well, not more, but.
And I'll let you stay with that thought for a second. But anyway, so he's like, yeah, okay. So they use the synthesizer to make, he gets a scotch, I think, and then she asks for Chilean rum, yeah. So, and Gordon just drops it. He just drops it right back, and she's like, oh, cheers. Okay. And she just takes a little sip. And then Gordon's like, yeah, he asked me for a shuttle. Like, this might be an issue. And she's like, well,
this is a good scene where she's like, by telling me you've already kind of made your decision about whether you're going to help him or not, or turn him in. And,
which is funny until we see him run into his quarters and say, let's go, basically. And you're like,
right. There's a misdirect here.
Yeah, totally misdirect. Yeah. Here's Gordon.
This is the classic, don't tell anybody, but
yeah, well, but everybody already knows and they're already waiting on you.
Or don't tell me if you don't want me to do anything.
Yeah. So basically Gordon jumps into his thing and says, okay, let's go. And, he's already got a bag packed. He's on his way out. And the two of them kind of evade people. And they end up running into Tala in the cargo bay. And she's like, yeah, no, none of you guys are going anywhere. Turn around, go back. And at this point, I can't remember. Oh, it was Gordon that pulls out the phaser. So Gordon pulls out the phaser and shoots her. And then jumps to the ship. So at this point, the misdirect is really good. I'm like, what the fuck is Gordon doing? Right. Yeah. And then at this point, I'm like, oh, this has to be a holodeck thing. And I totally forgot what the end of this episode was. But basically, we see Tala is out. They take the shuttle. And at this point, Mercer's like, so the tracking thing is working. Oh, yeah, it's working. All right. So we already know this is a ruse at this point. They didn't really hold it on too much. And she's back up and she makes a joke about how basically like he could have used a lower stun setting. But she's also tough as nails, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But But
She also, if it wasn't enough, she could have just acted it. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But she got thrown pretty far, so I'm gonna go with it was a decent impact. So anyway, we get one of the guys from the Krill. Wrong show. But yeah, the Krill basically say, yeah, you got like 30 minutes to hand this guy over.
I like how Larry Krill has to talk all growly at you all the time. You better be there.
You better be there.
Yeah,
exactly. He's like fake Klingon. But yeah, so anyway, they go through, and eventually he's like, so where are we going? And he's like, no, we're gonna head out and we're gonna go blow up some shit, basically. Well, he doesn't really tell them that, but he basically says, yeah, we're gonna take them down. At this point, they're tracking them. And then we see, what's her name? The girl. Somebody will fix me later. But anyway, the girl,
fake daughter.
Yeah. She, Tala goes to see her, and she's eating, and she notices all these what appear to be some sort of needle marks or
chicken pox or something, but it was.
Well, yeah, originally when they did that, I totally forgot the storyline on this episode. So I'm like, oh, is she infected with something? I don't remember. Then I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember. And then literally she goes from like this timid person to literally grabbing a knife and putting it to Tala's throat. And then I love how Tala does this. She's like, so, ever met one of us?
Ever met a Selayan before?
Yeah, ever met a Selayan before? And she's like, it just tosses her like there's no tomorrow.
But before that, she goes, oh, you talk.
Question about Selayan physiology. Like I was like, because they're stronger because of their gravity. Is their skin not also tougher? Like presumably, like that it would be harder to cut them, and the knife maybe is not as much of a threat to her.
Well, I mean, we just saw her take a phaser blast, right? So
right.
I don't know if her skin would be necessarily tougher, but she'd have like a higher bone density and muscle mass and all.
Right.
That.
It would at least be harder to cut through her muscles, I guess, or like I guess,
I'm willing to bet she gets older though, she's gonna have those like flappy arm things, and they're gonna be really bad because of the gravity thing. That would be my guess. But who knows?
Well, she's in light gravity, right? Like as far as she can.
Yeah, so they'll float. They'll go up the other way.
They'll go up.
Yeah.
She'll have like major muscle going on. But anyway. So yeah, she's she either threw up in her nose or this is blood of a different being.
She got like a hepatitis or something going on.
Yeah, she got something going on there. Either that or she's got a really bad case of COVID. But who knows? But anyway, so Claire walks in because she was ordered to come because of the needle mark. She was going to get her checked out, and Claire's like, yeah, no, holy shit. Like she just goes nuts on this. She's like, oh hell. Like, and she instantly says, yeah, can I get a force field around this quarters and all this, and get the force field up, and then I think they said flood the room with hydrogen. Was it hydrogen? No,
something
else.
Yeah. Take all the nitrogen out because the nitrogen will react, but and air is mostly nitrogen, right?
Yeah. So they're like, take all the nitrogen out of the room so she doesn't explode and kill the ship. But basically, they lock her in that room, and at this point, tell us, okay. And Claire's like, yeah, no, basically her blood will literally blow up. And then people kind of put two and two together, figure out that he's extracting blood from her to make bombs, essentially, which is what we see here.
And that Union shuttles don't have torpedoes.
Yeah.
So there's a kamikaze mission. They figured out it's kamikaze.
So he's literally going to go back to the Krill and get captured so he can blow them up, essentially. And Gordon's like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this.
Not a great plan here, Oren. I like for a guy who wants, I get like he wants to inflict just damage. I guess he's supposed to be analogous to any kind of extremist who kills themselves in the service of their cause. But I don't know, like. You could do, I don't know. It's just hard to buy that he's in there for 20 years. He finally gets out, and he just wants to try to blow one more Krill ship up to, like that's going to stop anything.
that totally tracks 100%. 20 years of being in a detention center.
Oh, you're going to be out for blood.
Being tortured, you're just vengeance. You're pure vengeance. You don't care. There's no greater cause. Just kill. Just die, fuckers.
So basically, Gordon holds him at gunpoint. Now, I have to point out the obvious here. Gordon, when you have your gun out, you don't look away. That is rule number 1 when you hold a weapon at somebody. Because the minute you do that, there's going to be a problem. And guess what?
That's why touch screens in vehicles don't work. You need to have physical buttons so you can hold your gun on somebody and look at them while fiddling around with your radio.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're going to play your gangster music while you're doing your drive-by, you can't be looking over there while you're doing your drive-by. God. But anyway, so the two of them end up getting in a kerfuffle. Very hard for me to capture, by the way. But I tried. This one, I'm pretty sure neither one of these guys are the actual actors. But who knows? This one obviously is. Well, maybe they did. Who knows? But I did like this insanely high kick that he did. I thought that was pretty impressive. That was like, Cobra Kai vibes there. But anyway, so the two of them end up, Gordon ends up getting the phaser again.
So this went on a little long. Like, why wouldn't you just have stunned him?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's the old trope of like when you have somebody at gunpoint, let them talk. It's like, why? Like, you already know his motives at this point.
But they didn't need to. He didn't need to be killed, and they wasted a perfectly good shuttle.
Yeah. So they end up at this point. Basically, he's armed the weapon as a way to get Gordon to stand down. Basically, Gordon takes a different route. He goes, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get my EV suit and I'm gonna get the hell out of Dodge." And that's basically what he does. So at this point, the bomb's about halfway ready to blow up. Gordon's like, "Dude, just put down the bomb, put on one of these suits, and let's get the hell out of here before this thing blows up." And the guy's not having any of it.
So Kevin, since you understand this guy clearly more than I do, why does he blow himself up here for no reason?
Hopelessness, I guess.
Okay.
Or he doesn't want to continue.
Is he? I can't remember the end here. Is he? Are they still going towards this krill ship? Is he still at this point intent on?
No, because
it's just an end to his suffering.
Gordon shot the panel, so they don't have navigation anymore.
They can't. They're not going to get to the ship. So basically, Gordon's like, "Okay, it's over. Your plot is over. Let's just get in these suits." And
but I guess the question is, do you want to be handed over to the Union, who's now going to treat you for treason?
Well, they're gonna extradite him. So I guess he's like, "I'm not going back." So
yeah, I'm not going back to that camp. I might as well just blow up.
But I think they could have put some of that into the scene, I think.
Maybe less fighting and more explaining that, like maybe just a little hurrah before he leaves, kind of thing.
I'd cut the scene where she teaches Lena to play the holographic piano thing.
Yeah, it didn't really help anything.
And maybe make this scene a little longer. But
how dare you? That's Dan's best work.
I know.
That's true, though. Then we wouldn't have Dan.
There might have been a chance to get Dan in somewhere else, but
anyway, so he ends up turning off the airlock, I guess. And at this point, he's just kind of got this look as the doors close to seal it off, and he walks out onto the platform and he just takes a jump, basically. And at that point, that's when the whole shuttle blows up. Now,
bye, Oren.
So, what's that?
Bye, Oren.
Yeah, well, Warren's definitely not going to live through that one.
He's come back from that. Nope.
Here's the problem I have with this scene. I get the idea of propelling him. I don't totally know the physics on that. However, later on, you can see him trying to slow himself out of the roll, which you wouldn't be able to do.
No.
You are on an infinite roll until somebody stops you, right?
But those EV suits have really no jets, no propulsion, nothing.
I don't think so.
As far as we can tell, no. It's one of the only times we've seen them used. I think this is the first episode I remember them wearing one. Well, there was a couple episodes, but
they also use them when they're on what's her name's Homeworld, because the gravity. I guess they can affect.
Yeah, there was that time, and there was the other time where
Wasn't there a time when he was stuck to the hull of the ship and got like drilled in? I can't remember what.
Or wasn't that Malcolm when he got?
That was
punched in
Malcolm.
It was
a mine.
Romulan minefield.
In one of the worst episodes of Enterprise. But anyway, let's move on.
It's a controversial episode.
We always have to have that, worked into something.
Yeah.
Minefield sucks. Move on.
Yeah,
Anyway, I do like the fact that he closes his eyes so he doesn't get like insanely fucked up, because if you're gonna see yourself spinning over and over at that velocity, it's gonna screw you up pretty hard. But anyway, so all of a sudden we see the blue light. I loved this shot. I thought this was really cool to see. Just the tractor Pete grabbing them, and it turns out
Looks
it's
like a
Orville.
T-shirt.
Yeah, it almost looks like a rock album from the 80s. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
This could have been a Journey album cover. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it would have been great. That album would
That could be too. Yeah,
That album would have been fantastic.
That's
it'd be great if Kelly's wearing a shirt with that Journey with that on it.
Yeah. You see her in the on the room later. Yeah,
that's the back cover.
yeah, that's the back cover. Yeah, maybe on the hood of a car. That might be good too.
Minefield as bad as Assignment Earth. Depends who you ask.
Actually, you know what? I like Assignment Earth more than Minefield, but they're both.
I like Minefield more than Assignment Earth.
I love Assignment Earth.
Oh,
It's the
shut
greatest.
up, Adam.
It's the greatest.
Shut up, Adam and Kevin. You're both wrong. Anyway, so we get back to the delegation thing going on here, and they're signing into. I guess this is the intent to have peace. Not really a peace thing.
It's a promise ring.
It's a promise ring.
It's
the first
basically
step.
a promise ring. Yeah, I do like that he signs completely different. Mercer signs like he's in grade school, but
Ed.
Ed
Merca.
Merca.
Yeah,
But anyway, and he's like, glad we could kind of work this out, and don't worry, he's dead, by the way. And he's like, yes, I guess we shall see. And Kelly smiles for some strange reason. Then at this point, we see Gordon. He's back in his room, and I guess we're seeing pictures of the two of them when they were younger.
Where's the mohawk?
Still no mohawk. That would have been a perfect time to put the mohawk in, but that
just knocked points off. You pointing that out just knocked points off.
Yeah,
to give us a picture without a mohawk after talking about the mohawk
twice.
Now, Dave, how do you feel about his sweater?
The sweater.
It's not great, but it's
kind
better.
of reminds me of the sweater that the red team, the red, what was it, the Wesley Squadron episode in TNG. Nova Squad.
Nova Squad.
Yeah,
it's not as egregious as some of Kelly boyfriend's sweaters, but
that's true.
It's not great.
So anyway, we see Gordon. He's kind of reminiscing about his friend who's now gone, obviously. I did like this scene though. This is surprisingly written by Seth MacFarlane because I didn't expect this, but it basically he goes in and he's like, I'm really sorry what's going on, blah blah blah. And then he said, why don't we go grab a beer and you can tell me about your friend? And I thought that was pretty cool, the way they did that.
And he was kind of jealous.
Yeah, and I was
he admits it.
Yeah, he does admit it
right here. It's irritating.
It is irritating, but I like this.
He never shows any jealousy ever in the episode. So why do we need this?
Yeah,
right.
True.
I don't think he was. I think he just.
It's just a final laugh.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Jody
So anyway,
Assignment Earth. Yeah.
No, I didn't say I liked it more than Minefield. I still don't like the episode. It is still garbage. Just to be clear.
Oh, it's awesome.
Shut up. Anyway. I agree with you with classic Batman, but that's where I draw the line. But anyway, so the two of them take off, and that's the end of the episode. So there you
go. Okay, so we were saying that this actor is the brother, the guy who played Oren is the half brother of Sean Astin, and I was like, well, who's their dad? John Astin, their father. I don't know if anyone knew that. Who was the original Gomez Adams on the Addams Family?
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know that name.
And he used to be on Night Court, John Astin. Like he had this recurring.
He had a recurring role. Yeah, he wasn't one of the majors.
But you got to look it up sometime because Sean Astin and his mom basically John Astin actually was his real dad, but his mom didn't lead him to believe that. So it was another guy involved that actually took total care of him. He's got like 3 dads.
That's brutal.
Oh, interesting. And then, well, Patty Duke is the mother of this actor who played Oren. Patty Duke, famous for
Westerns,
I think mostly.
Yeah,
you know,
was,
Valley of the Dolls.
Side piece in the Westerns.
Yeah, but Showbiz
Farmer's
family.
daughter.
You gotta say, yeah,
big
for
one.
sure.
But
and John Astin's not dead. That was the other thing I was shocked by. I was like, he's 93 and he's still going.
Good for him.
Yeah. I just assumed he was dead.
Me too. I was like, there's no way that guy's still going. Yeah, he is.
But guys, you know who's not dead? Fun facts with Adam.
Fun facts with Adam.
Oh, there's a reverb. Let's do that one again. Fun facts with Adam. Fun facts with Adam. There we are. All right. What do you got for us today, Adam?
I've got some fun facts. Let's go. So Eldorian vodka is served early in this episode. And this might be a reference to Eldorian species in the Star Trek comic book, The Menace of Moloth. If this is true, Eldorian vodka is the first reference in the Orville to Star Trek franchise. Is that a stretch, Dave?
No.
I like it too. Oren is actually missing a piece of his right ear, as Jody pointed out early in this episode today. In real life, this is a result of an injury that actor had in the 1990s. Doesn't tell us what.
Mackenzie Astin.
He's got the same thing that Stephen Colbert has, where it's like he's missing part of it and it's kind of like off.
Maybe Mike Tyson bit it off.
Yeah. Mackenzie Astin and Seth MacFarlane appeared together in the show The Loudest Voice in 2019. That's probably why he's on this show.
No idea what that is.
Oh, it was a show about the guy who founded Fox.
No. That's probably why I didn't watch it. Doesn't sound intriguing to me.
Oren had a full rank lieutenant despite being missing in action for 20 years, while Gordon has the same rank despite having a full 2 decades of service over Oren. This would indicate that either Oren was an overachiever, reaching rank of lieutenant in just a couple of years, or Gordon's an underachiever, his career being stalled at lieutenant for many years.
It's the Kim effect.
I think we know he's an underachiever, right? They
oh yeah, we totally know.
Allude to that in the first. They're very reluctant to put Gordon on the ship.
Yeah, they're like the guy who drinks
drunk. Yeah,
he drives drunk.
Yeah, he drinks while he's like inspecting the ship he's about to depart with.
Yeah. But I think it's a combination of the two. Oren was an overachiever, and he's an underachiever.
The Kim effect. We'll just call
it wasn't it? He had to, Mercer had to pry him away from whatever he was doing, which was nothing. At the beginning, right?
He was when we first meet him, he's on the holodeck, just being a samurai. Like that was what he was filling his days with.
What was that guy's name? Ben or something?
Yeah, like this is my ogre named Ben or John or whatever.
Yeah.
He's cool.
Gordon and Lena watched the last scene from Planet of the Apes, showing Charlton Heston exclaiming, "You maniacs! You blew it up! God damn you! God damn you all to hell!" And if you know Seth MacFarlane, he's basically parodies that scene in many, many episodes of everything he does.
Oh, it's a very iconic scene.
Yeah. This episode title is a fair paraphrase quote by Thomas Jefferson, which was, "The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots." This is true.
The blood of patriots. Yeah, there's a line in the episode where he says only families or large families can be patriotic or something. Because I guess they can afford to give up family members. Is that what he means?
I think so. Okay, so just coming back to this. So John Fleck, you called this out earlier, played Silik, the Suliban from Enterprise. Like the Krill, the Suliban started as the antagonist, but later allies in the fleet with the Earth's fleet against the larger threat.
Oh, they'll be antagonists again. Don't worry.
Yeah. I like the admiral names here. So both admirals share the last names of real Navy U.S. Admirals Halsey and Perry now. Admiral Perry. Last week we were talking about the other guy, Spirance, Halsey, and then Perry, who won the Battle of Lake Erie in the War of 1812.
For the British side, right?
Nope, would have been American.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, we won the war eventually, or it was draw.
Burnt down the White House too.
Yeah.
Yep. And I got one more here for you. Oh, this is the second time that a crew member of the Orville has won the medal from the what's that one? Sapphire Star. And Yaffa got that for the Battle of Earth. And actually, Alara got it in the episode Command Performance. I can't remember what she got it for, though.
Oh, yeah, I do remember something about that.
It was interesting. They call it the Sapphire Star, but I know it's just a so in the Green Lantern comic books and DC and all that, like the Star Sapphires are like kind of an antagonist to the Green Lanterns, and but it's a juxtapose.
Well, one more for you here. This is good. The Krill ambassador reveals the 4 ships destroyed by Orin had a combined complement of 1,200 Krill. This would indicate that the average Krill ship, presumably the prolific Krill destroyer, has the same complement as the exploratory class U.S.S. Orville, which had previously noted that it has a complement of 300.
Yeah. So 300 to 400 people, but they got a lot more firepower on that Krill ship. They need room for their guns and their missiles and kill all the blasphemers.
Yep. So I think I'll leave it there, but those are some pretty good fun. Oh, wait, one more. I got one more. This episode bears some similarity to the Oklahoma City bomber, Timothy McVeigh. McVeigh often cited Jefferson's quote, "The Tree of Liberty." And on the day of his terrorist attack, he wore a shirt with a quote beneath with a picture of the blood of patriots and tyrants dripping from a tree.
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like, this Orin character kind of feels like a Timothy McVeigh-esque kind of a guy, like an American terrorist, effectively, right?
Yep. Well, you remember that day? I mean, when that happened, and everybody, of course, went Muslim. Like, this is going to be a Muslim attack, and it turned out to be an American farmer, who was a little bit wacky, but.
I was so young when that happened. I don't even remember that. Like, everyone jumped. Like, I don't remember specifically the narrative around Muslims.
It was an awful, because this was before 9/11. It was one of those horrible, horrible attacks. But you know what? I'm going to leave it with one more reference to Next Gen. But this is an episode very similar to The Wounded, where the Enterprise D are tasked with stopping Captain Benjamin Maxwell, who is pursuing a seeming grudge against Cardassians.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Adam. But the job is not done. We need you to now rate the episode. That's right. It's time for ratings. So, Adam, what are we giving this one?
I'm giving this a 9, Jody.
A 9.
I really did like this episode a lot. It
would help if I actually tried to type in there. All right. Dave, what are your thoughts?
It's about a 7 for me.
7.
Kevin.
I give it an 8.
8 is where I was going to be. So I'm going to throw that into an 8 as well. So if we,
I can do that.
You go ahead and do that.
There you go.
But basically, IMDb has this at 7.8. We have an average of 8, which means we're pretty much spot on with them. So that's odd for us, actually, but it happens. So combined rating puts us at 7.9. So we're pretty much right there. And as we said, the story was done by Seth MacFarlane. But I know what you're asking, Dave.
What's next, Jody?
What's next is what you're going to ask me. I knew that. And you know what? I hate to break it to you, Dave, but next week's episode, it's going to be lasting impressions. That's right. It is. Let me just get the display thing.
Oh, this episode.
This is the capsule episode, basically. Where is the plot thing on this? Oh yeah, the crew opens a time capsule from 2015, ironically. This is also where Gordon kind of falls in love with the girl.
Oh, the iPhone episode.
Yeah, where she puts her phone in to the thing, which doesn't make any sense to me, but she puts her phone in, and he goes through it later on. And
we've had such a good couple episodes. Damn it!
You're upset because you're gonna miss it? Is that why?
No, I don't like it.
Oh, because I remember really liking that episode.
I don't mind the episode. I thought it got a little too Gordon and not enough anybody else, but
I'm looking forward to talking about this because anyway, we'll come back to it. To me, it's this whole idea of falling in love with a minuet.
I hate that episode too.
Yeah, you didn't like that minuet, but like
minuet
Riker liked her.
Yeah, well, Riker likes anything with 2 feet and a heartbeat, so
even things without heartbeats.
yeah, he probably wouldn't be against the idea. They probably catch him in the morgue once in a while too. But anyway.
Holograms, I mean, don't have heartbeats, but I wasn't really going there. But okay.
But thank you for bringing us to that dark place.
Yeah, where Riker's banging somebody in the morgue.
Like I said before, we don't kink shame here.
Worf says he's not a merry man. Anyway, well, on that bombshell, I think that's pretty much going to be it for tonight. But before we go, we do have to kind of tease some other things, Dave. Such as, Dave, what's happening on Live Long and Podcast?
Well, we got, every Sunday we have our Science Division Sunday with Davin Skellhorn, where he's doing different things. Last night was Class L Probe, which is kind of like a deep dive into a whole bunch of different topics, coming off of our Debate 9 podcast that was, I think, a week earlier, where we're debating all kinds of different Star Trek topics, Enterprise themed, specifically in these couple of episodes.
It was a fun
episode done recently. So, so I was on with Justin, Dave, Puxley, and Davin last night with that, and then this Sunday we have our next edition of Star Trek Radio Theater coming up. We're doing an Enterprise episode.
Good.
Yeah, we're doing North Star.
Oh,
the Western.
Oh,
I know, exciting, huh?
I'm kind of glad you didn't call me for that.
Yeah, well, Heather Narduzzi's helping us put it together right now. So look out for that on Sunday. Of course, Star Trek Lower Decks right now in its 5th season. We just covered Starbase 80 on Thursday, and we got another episode coming up this Thursday. I did like
that episode, actually.
Episode 6 of, so look out for that. We'll be on Thursday night to talk all
already
about that.
Halfway through the final season.
Yeah, we're more than we've crossed that halfway point. It's sad that the show is ending because this is the final season of Lower Decks. But hey, we didn't know if it would make it past a season or two when it first started.
I'm not going to miss Mariner though.
No. I used to call her Space Jesus.
Well, no, that's Space Jesus is from Discovery.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Mariner's just fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents, and that's probably why nobody ever invites me on that podcast.
There could be a correlation, but
there might be something there.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, Dave. Anything else you want to pitch on some of the other networks?
We also have a Trivial Debates coming up on Sunday. I'm on that too, and we're doing Starship Troopers themed. So.
Oh yeah, I wanted to be on this one, but I was too late on the draw. All the spots were already taken.
I'm still trying to figure out what my answers are going to be, so I might ask for your.
Well, if you need some help, maybe I'll secretly help you.
Okay. Well, you can assist. I could use the help. So
all right. I love that movie. The sequels, not so much, but that one was.
Apparently, we're only talking about the original movie.
Thank God, because we were talking about the other ones. It's a snore fest. But anyway, mind you, T'Pol is in one of the sequels. The woman who plays T'Pol in Enterprise, she's in one of the sequels for Starship Troopers, from what I remember.
The sequels are terrible.
Oh, they were terrible. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, all right. Well, unless anybody else has any final thoughts.
Nope.
The sex life of people, anything, nothing else? Nope, we're good. Okay, great. All right. Well, I thank everybody for joining us. And of course, make sure you click like and subscribe. Maybe in that order. I don't know. Is that how it works? I don't know.
Follow your heart. Do whatever you want.
You know what?
Do it any order you want.
Faith of your heart.
Yeah.
And do what you want to do, but please subscribe because that helps us, of course.
Absolutely.
Anyway, of course, have a good night. And I think we're going to have to play something. Let's play the outro. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Sounds
See you next
to
time.
me. All right. Live long and podcast.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.